Alright guys, Briggs and I were talking about his last video and my video on Zoro, and I think we broke the code. We discovered the dark truth about Zoro.
I know it's gonna sound crazy, but let's take a look at the role that Zoro plays on the crew real quick. He is the first mate who keeps his captain safe and most importantly makes sure he is the best pirate that he can be. On top of, trying to become the greatest swordsman in the world and all that.
Something to remember is that Zoro, especially in the early arcs, is probably way stronger than Luffy. Let's be real, if the dude wasn't on death's door from Mihawk, he could have easily taken down Arlong in a matter of seconds. But of course, Luffy takes down the Fishman, and his bounty raises as a result.
In fact, every major villain sees Luffy taking them on, despite Zoro being more than capable of doing it himself, which is kind of weird, right? Like sure, Luffy is the protagonist, but what are really the odds that Zoro is never the one to run into the bad guy?
It probably has to do with the fact that Zoro always gets lost and finds his way to other villains instead. And hasn't Zoro's sense of direction always just seemed a little strange? Like, originally, he wasn't so bad. But starting in Alabasta, he basically began getting lost every arc. Super weird, right?
Well, maybe not. At the end of the Baratier arc, Zoro broke 2 of his swords. And in Logtown, he needed to borrow money from Nami to buy new ones, with Nami charging him 300% interest. His original 100,000 berry debt is still 200,000 immediately, despite him giving back the money the same day.
By the time they hit Alabasta, the debt had gone up to 400,000. And from the time she said he owed him 200,000 in Whiskey Peak to 400,000 in Alabasta, only about 2 weeks would have passed in the One Piece world. And again, this is where Zoro starts getting lost. He isn't around to fight Crocodile, or most of the big bads in the future, especially when it could result in Luffy's bounty going up. After the Crocodile incident, his bounty raises to 100 million berries, right? And in Enies lobby, we see him take on Rob Lucci and declare war against the world government, and then his bounty goes up to 300 million. Marineford brought him up to 400, and Dressrosa to 500. And finally, when the crew splits up and Zoro is nowhere close to Luffy, he attacks Whole Cake Island and gets all the credit, and his bounty jumps to 1.5 billion. And that just leaves me to wonder, how high would his bounty be if he was king of the pirates? Oh, and on that note, I almost forgot, Briggs, what was Zoro's old job again?
A bounty hunter. The dude clearly became desperate to pay Nami back, and when he realized that Luffy could become the king, he quickly began distancing himself from major opponents and let Luffy take all the glory. All so he can eventually backstab him and take him in for the reward.
And he will probably need to, considering Nami's interest rate. The debt doubled from 200 to 400,000 in just a few weeks, and it's been over 2 years. If we assume every 2 weeks it doubles, it would be just over 2 billion berries. There really wasn't much of a chance for Zoro to pay her back before the time skip, and now that they're back together, Luffy's bounty is finally getting close to covering the costs. At the end of Wano, I can only assume that Luffy's bounty will go up again for taking down at least one of the Yonkos and becoming an emperor himself, making him within arm's reach of becoming king, and leaving Zoro in the perfect opportunity to take him in.
Thank you again for having me, Axel. It was a ton of fun, and in my opinion is pretty much confirmed to be 100% accurate at this point.
Now, obviously this video is complete bullshit, but Briggs and I thought it would be fun to just kind of make some shit posts. With that being said, I should be back with real anime content in just a few days, so be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more of that, and obviously you should go subscribe to Briggs as well over at AllDayAnime. With all that being said, I've been Excellion, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, stay excellent.